What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Junior and the Big Dog, to another episode. Big Dog, how's it going on a weekend, baby? It's all about the you.
It's all about the you, baby.
It's all about the
good.
you.
Good. Really excited to get this one going.
Yeah.
Again, to everybody, thank you so much for the support that you've given us. I'm always amazed by it. I am. But please subscribe if you haven't already. Please like. It really does help us when you hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and also share when you can with others and trying to broaden our audience a little bit. But we're just really excited, and the type of feedback that we've gotten and the type of support that we've gotten from everyone is just, it's been amazing. And thank you so much for that. And I know you feel the same way.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that. You know how YouTube shows you analytics based on your performance in the videos, guys. 66% of you guys watching our videos are not subscribed. So if we could just get maybe some of those 66% to subscribe to us, it would really, really help us out, and we would really, really appreciate it. But today we're going to be talking about the defensive prospects for next year's class. We already covered the offensive prospects in another video. If you guys haven't checked that out, I'm going to leave the links somewhere up here where you could go straight to it if you haven't checked it out already. So please do so. But today we're going to be covering the defensive line and the outside linebackers. We're going to split this up into two different parts to not make the video very long, because there are a lot of defensive players that, you know, we should be going over for this class and that we're really excited about, frankly. So two different parts. This part is going to be defensive line, outside linebackers. On our next video, that's going to be part two of this. It's going to be the inside linebackers and the secondary. So today, you guys already know what we're focusing on. You want to get to it, Big Dog?
Yeah, and I do want to add the reason why we wanted to split this up into two videos. The outside of linebackers, and even that has some wiggle room, and I'll tell you why. But outside of linebackers, it's not like the offense. The offense, we pretty much know how many wide receivers we're going to take. We're not going to take another quarterback. We're only going to take one other running back. We're looking for one more tight end. So, and even offensive line, we had an idea, I should say, of how many we're going to take.
Right.
Defensively, it's all over the board. I know we want to take at least 4 linebackers, but when you have, defensive ends that might end up being outside linebackers, I don't know how many we're going to take in the secondary. We already have 3 committed, but we could end up taking 2 or even 3 more.
Yeah.
The defensive side of the ball is going to be a lot more spread out. And we really, and it's not just that we don't have an idea how much or what type of players they're all going to take. I don't think the coaching staff does. I think the coaching staff I think the coaching staff is still playing it by ear, depending on who they can get. I think they're willing to go one more on certain positions if it's somebody really talented. If somebody's really talented is not out there, or at least is not out there that will commit to us, I think they'll pass on certain positions. So it's really, really hard to know. And we thought it would be better to split into 2 videos just so we can cover all those that we believe are realistic prospects.
100%.
And I think that's the best way to address it. And that's one of the reasons. A big shout out to 247 Composite is going to be all the ratings that we use, and all the stats are going to be from Max Preps. Also, a majority of the videos are from Huddle and a couple from Max Preps. So obviously we want to give credit to them. And for those of you, when we show you a small clip of the video, if you want to see more of the player, we absolutely encourage you to visit those sites.
Yeah, just put in their name and, put in Huddle. And we take clips just from like one of their highlight videos, but some of these players have a lot of different videos. So you can see, a ton amount of material on those players. So we do encourage you guys to check out the videos in full length, so you could really get an idea of the things that we're talking about and why we're excited about these prospects that we think we have a pretty good shot at landing. So you want to start off with Chance Williams?
Let's start off with either weak side defensive end, Chance Williams, 6'3.5", 214 pounds, out of Oak Leaf High School in Orange Park, Florida. For those of you who remember, he is the teammate of Jalen Rivers, an offensive tackle who I think we will definitely get. We're definitely trending to get Jalen Rivers. At one time, it was thought that Chance Williams and Jalen Rivers were a package deal.
Right.
Correct. That's what they were telling everybody. What I think has occurred, I think Chance Williams, because of our depth at defensive end, sort of started looking away from Miami, and Jalen Rivers, for much the same reason, our lack of tackles, started looking towards Miami.
Yeah.
So I think that's when the package deal sort of split up. A lot of times you hear that from high school teammates that they are a package deal, and a majority of the time, by the time that they end up committing, they're not a package deal any longer, because each one, when they're different positions, has to look for their own personal interests.
Well, not just that, but I think when they say a package deal, that's prior to the experiences and the visits that they've had to other schools. So,
Correct.
you know, it's okay, it's a package deal, but when you have one kid, you know, that has never visited Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Miami, and then, you know, obviously the interest, and one guy might like one school more than the other, and then that's when things, you know, kind of go array in terms of the whole package deal thing, frankly. But yeah, like you said, Chance Williams, he's rated a 95.39, high 4-star. He's the 4th best wide defensive end in the country, and 84th best. What did I say?
4th best weak side defensive end.
What did I say?
You said wide.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Weak side wide defensive end. Weak side defensive end in the country, and 84th best player overall. Like he's been offered by Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Florida, among 23 other schools. The crystal ball has 4 picks. 2 of them are for Florida, and 1 is for Miami. And Andrew Ivins, which is, you know, one of the big guys when it comes to making predictions, and has a good track record of making predictions. He's still undecided. But yeah, like you said, he was a teammate of Jalen Rivers, and yeah, I mean, like we
by the way,
trying to be a package deal.
We mentioned 247. If those of you that don't subscribe to 247, they have a lot of good articles, and Andrew Ivins is one of the reporters that covers Miami. Christopher Stock and David Lake, I think, are the other 2 major ones, and it's a great site, contains a lot of information. Now, here's the thing with Williams. I think Rivers is ours. I think Rivers is ours to lose. So I do think we're going to get him. I think we still have a shot at Chance Williams from the standpoint of, even though we have a lot of good defensive ends, we're going to lose Trayvon Hill. He only has 1 year of eligibility.
Garvin,
possibly. I actually think Garvin's coming back for his senior year, but that's up in the air.
If he has a monster year, I think Garvin might be gone.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think if he has a monster, 15 sack season or something like that, or, whatever, 13, 14 sack season, I think he leaves. I think those sacks, because of the talent and the depth that we have in the defensive line, are going to be spread out. The fact that we talked about this before, the fact that Joe Jackson didn't go until the 5th round, and McIntosh and Norton the year before left too early. They probably should have gone back for another year, or stayed in Miami for another year. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm leaning towards Garvin coming back for his senior season. But regardless, we still lose Trayvon Hill and Scott Patchen. So Chance Williams, I think, does see some possibilities of early playing time. Obviously, we'll still have Rousseau. We'll still have Jafari Harvey, Cam Williams, Jalen Phillips, which is a huge one, of course. So, but I think Chance Williams, that's one of the reasons why we see that the crystal ball is what it said: 2 picks for Florida, 1 pick for Miami. So I still think especially if we beat when we beat Florida on August 24th,
here you go.
I think that would maybe get Chance Williams leaning back in our direction. But there's still some ground there to be made up. I think that his recruitment's still up in the air.
Not just if we beat Florida, dude, but I think, we've said this before when covering other prospects and their potential landing spots, we have to have a good season. I mean, let's just say we don't beat Florida, but then, we run the table the rest away and we're playing for the ACC championship against Clemson. And then who knows what happens. I just think it's more about the overall season that we end up having versus just that one game against Florida. I mean, if we have a very, very good season and we're in that contention for the playoffs, and we're obviously we win the Coastal and we face Clemson, and at that point, who knows what could happen. But even if we're just in contention for the playoffs, top 10, I think we have a good shot of landing them. I think that has more of an impact than just that one, Florida and Miami game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would. I agree with that. I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. And by the way, even though down the road we'll do shows where we look at the entire season and we make predictions for each game, if you look at our schedule, I think 10 wins is the floor, frankly. And I know people say I have my cane shades on, whatever. I'm sorry, it's not cane shades. It's the fact that we have talent to blow out almost every team in the Coastal and almost every team on our schedule. Now, mind you, obviously, the proof is going to be on the field.
Right.
But I think 10 wins is the floor. When people say a 10-win season, for us, that's the floor. I'm really looking at an 11-1, 12-0 regular season as possibilities.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you always can have that one game where you're off and the other team is inspired and you take them lightly and you're flat. Even our 2001, the greatest college football team of all time, had close calls against Virginia Tech and against Boston College.
Right.
So those games happen, and those games, a lot of times, it's a coin flip which way that they go.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying for a fact, we're going to go 12-0. I'm saying that that's not out of the realm of possibility at all. Now, more likely, I think a 10-plus win season is more than likely. I will say that,
and more than enough to get us to the ACC championship.
Correct, and more than enough to land a lot of these top tier guys.
Exactly.
You said, I mean, Chance Williams is the 84th best overall player. He's a freak of an athlete because at 6'3.5", 214, he ran a 4.56 40, 33.6 vertical leap, 4.47 shuttle, and he has an 80-inch wingspan.
Yeah.
Okay. Kid is a monster athlete. Yeah. So you want to go ahead and let's get this clip?
Let's get to this clip so you guys can see some of the things that we're talking about.
All right, here we go. You're going to see him there circled. He's playing the left defensive end. Look at that move to the inside and tracks down the quarterback trying to get away from him. You're going to see a lot of ability, a lot of quickness. There you see he's over at the right defensive end now. And this is, you see how quickly he separates, and then when he gets to the quarterback, the play's usually over.
And you're going to see that, pay attention to the wingspan, that 80-inch wingspan, because you're going to see, how much that can disrupt the quarterback's vision.
And not only that using, there you go, bats a ball,
there you
one
go.
hand up in the air, and he knows how to use that wingspan, because you'll see he'll use it to separate a lot of times from the tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You see him making a nice play against the run.
And he's a guy that can bring you down with just one arm.
Absolutely.
So having that big wingspan and being able to, push a guy a little bit to the left, push a guy a little bit to the right, he could literally make a play on the running back with just one arm. And
well, one of the things that we're so excited about Rousseau, now obviously Rousseau's wingspan is even greater, because Rousseau's 6'6", and some people think he's up to 6'7".
Yeah.
And Chance is 6'3.5". But he actually, and one of the good ways of a defensive end to be able to separate from the tackle is when you do have those long arms, that you can keep him off bay. And obviously, he's 6'3.5", 214 now.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at a guy before he gets substantial playing time could be up in that 240, 245, 250 range.
Yeah.
In terms of weight. So he's going to have a little bit more strength. But when you're able to use that wingspan and you can get separation from, keeping that arm against the tackle,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot easier for you to get around that corner.
100%.
So it's not just having the wingspan, is knowing how to use it.
Yeah.
So listen, Williams is a player. There's a reason why he's so highly rated. I mean,
before we jump, 'cause I don't know if you're going to transition yet, but before we jump, in his sophomore year is probably the best year that he had. We'll see what he does this year in his senior year. But he played 9 games in his sophomore year. He had 36 total tackles, 14 assists, adds up to 50 total tackles, and he had 17 tackles for loss. That's
there you go,
a big number.
Yeah. So you have the physical abilities, and then you see the production.
Exactly, 100%.
You know, I mean, he's right now. I think it's a coin flip. I think you're 100% right. If we have the type of season that I expect us to have, I think he's definitely ours for the taking, especially because of Jalen Rivers already being, to use a phrase, already being in the boat. Right. You know, we used to use a fishing term. But I think Jalen Rivers is already in the boat. Obviously, having the type of season that we have, that, you know, and he'll stay committed. Right. But I think if we have that type of season, then I give ourselves, with Jalen Rivers in the boat, a better than 50% chance of getting Chance Williams too. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Okay. Next up, another weak side defensive end, Jalen Harrell, 6'4", 235 from Berkeley Prep in Tampa, Florida. His rating is 92.13. He's a 4-star, 11th ranked weak side defensive end in the country.
You almost said wide there.
I know I did. And 215th best overall player. Yeah. Also offered by all the usual suspects: Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma, FSU, among 23 schools.
There's one thing that concerns me here about Harrell, is the fact that I think you were just about to say it. Just only one crystal ball pick, and that's for Florida, and Florida hasn't even offered. So my concern here is that if Florida does go ahead and offer, which I'm pretty sure they will, considering, you know, the fact that he looks like he's really interested in Florida, once they offer, that, you know, I think that they might have a good chance of landing him.
Yeah, and there's something. Listen, at the end of the day, and we've mentioned this before, they're all kids, okay? And we're grown men. And when you need to take that in consideration when you criticize these young men. You're not criticizing a 28 or 30-year-old NFL player. You're criticizing a young man who's 18, 19 years old. And
even younger sometimes, like, you know,
correct.
James Williams is a perfect example.
There you go. Yeah, he's what, 16?
He's 16 years old, and then I understand the frustration with James Williams, because he was, I bleed orange and green, and then, you know, having conversations with DJ Dallas on Twitter. I'm never gonna commit. I'm a 100% loyal, and then, you know, he decommits. And so I understand that from the frustration from Canes fans, but how sure were you about the decisions that you were making at 16? And I'm pretty sure most of us watching this didn't have that big of a decision at 16 years old as some of these kids have. Like, you're literally talking about your future, frankly. Like, and you're only 16 years old. I mean, so come on, you got to give these kids some slack. I don't like the bashing on Twitter. Oh, we don't need you. You're not like, I see a lot of negative comments. Guys, put yourself at 16 years old and tell me your mindset at 16 years old, and how many things did you switch up on. I mean, you went to sleep one night thinking about one girl, and you woke up the next morning thinking about the other girl. And I mean, frankly, come on, man. And we're talking about a much broader and a much more important decision for these kids, frankly. So don't bash them, and just let them do what they want to do, man. Let them decide what they want to decide. If they come here, fine. If they don't, all right, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, and for those of you that didn't know, James Williams is a 2021 recruit who committed to us early, and he talked about using Sean Taylor's number. He was going to wear number 26, and he was all about the U. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he decommitted. And most,
I don't think anybody should ever wear 26 again.
You're right. Most people, in all fairness, most Miami fans were treated him right and said, well, sorry to hear about that. Hope you change your mind and you recommit, and good luck to you, and those type of things. So most fans were like that. A couple of knuckleheads on Twitter, started going at him. And that's the part that I don't like, is when you're grown men, man, understand that there was a guy on Twitter, I think this past week, that he tweeted out, what would it have changed your life if they would have had cell phones back when we were that age? And people had video cameras. How much trouble would you have gotten in? Mm-hmm. And most people were like, man, thank God they didn't have video camera on phones back then.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. So cut them some slack, because at the end of the day, there are kids who are just becoming young men. Mm-hmm. And but the reason why I mentioned this, there is something. So we did that qualifier of that we do have to cut them some slack. Mm-hmm. There is one thing that I believe, and in my advanced age, I've seen recruiting for an awful long time. One of the things that I have seen, and there's exceptions to this rule, but it's a pretty strong rule in terms of being true.
Right.
The players that enjoy the attention a little bit too much, they enjoy the process a little bit too much, they tend to underperform. Mm-hmm. Because their focus is on attention and on hey, look at this, look all this attention I'm getting. I'm like the most beautiful girl right before prom, where everybody's asking me to prom.
Yeah.
And they love this process. We had some that in 2019, which I won't mention Chris Bogle's name, but the type of guys that want that attention, to me, they tend to underperform. The type of guys that you want are like Don Chaney. Mm-hmm. Don Chaney said, I'm committed to the U. He shut down his recruitment. Yeah, he did talk about recently about taking a couple of visits just to see, and to
enjoy the process.
Absolutely, which is fine. Right. I don't mind them enjoying the process. Yeah. But what you want is the type of kid who gets all the information from the different schools, sits down with his brain trust, whether it be just his parents, his high school coach, with people he trusts, mm-hmm. and then makes a decision, and then focuses on the achievement, focuses on getting ready, on enrolling early, on doing things to prepare him to excel at the next level.
Exactly.
The kids that I think want all the love and all the attention, I don't think they end up performing, at least in the beginning, anywhere near, because their focus is on the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Jalen Harrell, he did strike me a little bit as being a guy who was enjoying the process a little bit too much.
Right.
And he talked a little bit too much about, about being shown love and wanting to drag it out as long as possible. Mm-hmm. Because I can say when I was that age, a lot of this stuff would have gotten really old really fast, of getting calls all the time, getting texts all the time. Mm-hmm. And I would like to make a decision, pick a school, and then be done with it. Mm-hmm. And then being able to focus on football, on school, on the stuff that's important, and not, hey, look how many coaches want me. Hey, and, look at all these
building, coaches. And not just that, but building a further and a more, legit relationship with the coaching staff or whatever school you're going to pick.
Correct.
That's what I would be interested in. I would pick a school, boom, stick to it, and then just keep on, trying to gain those relationships with the players that they're going to be with you the following year. You could already start working on things if you're fit, like 100% sure about that school. You could already start working on things and understanding the scheme in which you're going to play in, even before you even get there. Which is only going to help you once you do get there. So
yeah,
I think those are some of the benefits that once these kids that really do pick the schools and that they know 100% that's a school that they're going to, I think that's a plus, and that's going to help them. That's going to give them a leg up when they come into the program.
Absolutely. No, and you said developing that bond with their position coaches, mm-hmm. where the position coaches can tell them, hey, work on this drill. Hey, I want you to work on that drill.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, Jalen Harrell, we don't want him to be confused. There is another big-time prospect who's also named Jalen Harrell, who spells it without the Y. He's a cornerback, and we might actually cover him in our next video as one of the defensive secondary people. Although I think the contact with him has died down some.
Yeah.
But this Jalen Harrell is the one that spells it with the Y, Jaylen. And he's the linebacker. Oh, I'm sorry, the defensive end. And the other Jalen Harrell does not have the Y, and he's a cornerback. You want to? Let's go ahead and get to the.
Let's get to the video.
All right, and there you see him here. He's circled. Look at that tremendous athleticism picking off that pass.
Yep.
That showed a lot of athleticism and good hands too. Now you're going to see him here as a stand-up left defensive end. Look at that, how he beats that block. And when he gets to you, he gets there in a bad mood.
Rushes you. Yes, he does. Right here. Look at
that. Listen, he's a very talented defensive end. I am a big fan of his. I do think that the fact that Florida hasn't offered him, especially with us showing him attention, maybe that gives us the edge over Florida being able to get him.
Right.
So, and from Tampa, that's been a toss-up at times, but we've had some successes in Tampa and some not so successful.
Yes.
But there you see him again. Look at this. Look at that. Lays a big hit on the quarterback.
Oh, he's a player.
He is. And you see a really good first step. You want to go over his stats?
Yeah, let's go. I think his stats are impressive, especially his junior year, in which, frankly, I don't think there was necessarily a down. Maybe his sophomore year, but let's start with his freshman year. His freshman year, he played 12 games. He had 36 solo tackles, 45 assists, adds up to 81 total tackles. He had 16 tackles for loss. As a freshman,
16 tackles for loss.
16 tackles for loss. His sophomore year, the production was down a little bit. He played 3 less games. He only played 9 games in that one. He had 39 solo tackles, 33 assists with a total of 72 total tackles. He had 8 tackles for loss in his sophomore year. His junior year was, frankly, his best year. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what his senior year is going to look like. But he had 11 games played in his junior year he had 71 solo tackles, 35 assists. That's a total of 106 total tackles. And he had 20 tackles for loss, 20 tackles for loss. So, like I said, he's a player.
Yeah, he's a player, and he's obviously a sure take. That's why I say that we have no idea the numbers, because I think it's going to depend on the players.
I think so too.
On which players commit, which players we take.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that linebackers, obviously, it's a need. It's a huge need. We also need some depth in the secondary, so we're going to take some numbers there. But we already have 3 commits in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why it's a little all over the board in terms of how much we'll take. Jalen Harrell's one of those that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That if he commits to us, he is a sure take. And I do think we have a pretty good chance of landing him.
Now, he didn't get many sacks, though. Before we go ahead and jump into Elijah Roberts, he didn't get much sacks. In total, in the 3 years that he was there, he only got 7 sacks. He had 5 in his junior year. So you can make a case that obviously his numbers were amazing in his junior year, so maybe he's just going to get better. But he only had 2 sacks in his sophomore year, and he had 0 sacks in his freshman year. So
yeah, but the thing is, they used him at linebacker. That's the thing. He wasn't used as a defensive end
exclusively
earlier in his career. Right. So and you even saw in the clips that he was standing up a lot.
He was standing up a lot. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I think he's going to have to develop pass rush moves for sure.
Yeah.
Because what you didn't see in the clip is a lot of refined pass rushing moves.
Exactly.
What you saw is he was getting by in athleticism and quickness.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
You didn't see a lot of technique.
Right.
So he's developmental, and he's a guy who's probably going to take a redshirt year.
Mm-hmm.
But once he learns technique, he's a baller. That kid's a baller.
Yeah.
So let's go to Elijah Roberts.
Yeah.
There's going to be a difference of opinion, and I do want to address this. Not so much between you and I, but between me and everyone else. I think you feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
People talked about the thing with Elijah Roberts is his versatility, that he could play inside or outside.
Mm-hmm.
At the college level, I don't see him playing outside. I see him as a pure defensive tackle. And I'll tell you why. Robert's 6'3", 267 from Miami Columbus High School. He also played at Coral Park, a rating of 88.84. He's a very high 3-star, right on the borderline, almost a 4-star. 17th best strong side defensive end in the country because they have him listed as a strong side defensive end. 378th best overall player, offered by Florida, FSU, Michigan, Penn State, among 18 schools. The crystal ball for the 247 has 2 picks, both of them for Miami. So I do think he's going to be, and I think he'll probably commit relatively soon. Here's the thing, though. A lot of people talk about his versatility. I don't see him as a defensive end in college. His 40-yard dash, 5.01, 28.6-inch vertical leap, shuttle of 4.81.
He might be a versatile player and be able to play defensive end at other schools, but frankly, he's not going to see time at defensive end with the U.
Yeah, I think he's a defensive tackle. I mean, he's 6'3", 267. Let's say with a red shirt year, comes back at 290, 295. And he has great athleticism for a D tackle. He has not great athleticism for a defensive end. Especially a University of Miami defensive end.
Exactly.
When we have freaks of nature like Gregory Rousseau, like Jalen Phillips, like Jonathan Garvin, like Jafari Harvey. Even Cam Williams has tremendous straight line speed.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when you're 40 is not under 5, I mean, that's not something that you necessarily want at defensive end playing for the University of Miami. So
and the vertical leap is at 28 inches.
That's another
29 inches.
That's another thing that shows. Those numbers show you pretty much those sound like and look like defensive tackle numbers, frankly.
Yeah. And his shuttle time was 4.81.
Yeah.
So I don't see defensive end.
I'm 100%
at Miami
there with you.
Athleticism. I see, defensive tackle. But by the way, a tremendously athletic defensive tackle.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and take a look at his film.
Let's take a look at his
We don't have any reliable stats for him, but let's go ahead and look at his film. And let's get it started here.
There you're going to see him at the first play at defensive end.
Right. And he's at strong side defensive end, makes a really nice play. And you saw he fought off the block. Yeah.
Oh, no, his boy did.
Yeah. He's number 14, by the way. And now you're going to see him again at strong side defensive end. Just dish rags the quarterback. Look at that. Look at that hit. I mean, I'll tell you what, he's a baller. The kid's a baller. Yeah. I think he's going to end up being a 4-star.
Yeah.
Here you see him again. This time he's on the weak side. Look at this. No, you're not going anywhere. That's a safety.
That was a beautiful play, man.
The way he hung on to him, the kid's a baller, and there you go. When he gets to you, you're going down.
You could see. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. You see on the film, you see him playing, on a weak side, on a strong side as defensive end, and you're just like, damn, this guy could really come in and be a defensive end on our team. But there's more to the story, like we said. We mentioned the 40, we mentioned the vertical, we mentioned the shuttle. So I just don't see how that translates. I mean, yeah, the video and the clips look great at defensive end. I just don't see, based on those numbers, his 40, his vertical, his shuttle, those are not defensive end numbers at the University of Miami.
Right. Well, and here's a point, and not in the type of 4-3 that we play.
Right.
Now you put him in a 3-4 system. That's exactly the type of defensive end you want in a 3-4.
100%. But play a 4-3.
We play an attacking 4-3 and a penetrating. Now, mind you, as a 3 technique D tackle, I think he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Because he has tremendous athleticism. He has a type of athleticism that we see, maybe not to the same extent, but fairly close to like a Jason Blissett, a Jared Harrison Hunt,
Yeah,
that type of athleticism.
that's a good comparison.
You know, so he is. I think he's going to definitely be a defensive tackle, and he's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know, so you want to go ahead to Quentin Williams, strong side defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's important for us, and for a couple of reasons. Quentin Williams, he's as a player, he's 6'3", 234 from Mallard Creek High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. The reason why he's very important for us, besides the fact that he's a good player, and I think he's underrated, he's also the high school teammate of Trenton Simpson, who is a stud outside linebacker who we want.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about him.
Correct. So. And they haven't talked about being a package deal, him and Trenton Simpson, but they have talked about how much they would love to play together at the next level. Mm-hmm. So I think us getting Quentin Williams would give us a really good shot at Trenton Simpson. Mm-hmm. So because they are good friends, besides teammates, they've taken visits together.
So you think the Canes might take a flyer on Quentin Williams just so they could go ahead and get Trent Simpson?
No, listen. I'm
not saying Quentin's bad, but I think
exactly.
Like on Simpson's a stud.
Exactly. I mean, would we consider Quentin Williams on his own regard, on his own merit? Yes.
You think so?
Yes. I think we consider him. I don't think he's like a slam dunk, necessarily a take.
No, you're right. You're right.
And a lot depends on Elijah Roberts. Us getting Elijah Roberts.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Us getting Jalen Harrell, or us getting Chance Williams. Mm-hmm. So the numbers are going to be brought into it. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think that us pursuing Quentin Williams, that part of that equation is the relationship to Trent Simpson? Yeah, I mean, I have to admit it is. But I think we consider Quentin Williams on his own merit.
Yeah.
So he has an 86.28 rating. He's a 3-star, the 23rd best strong side defensive end in the country, 657th best overall player, offered by Virginia Tech, North Carolina, and Louisville among 9 schools. The Crystal Ball has only 1 vote, and it's for North Carolina. And listen, I do think he has great testing numbers, and we'll get to the testing numbers. Mm-hmm. Very athletic. Okay, bit of a late bloomer in terms of production. We weren't able to get any stats, but his testing numbers are very, very impressive.
Okay, now this is where I don't know who to believe here, because Huddle stats on Quentin Williams are mind-boggling.
I could tell you. Let me give you my 2 cents through experience through many years. I trust 247's testing numbers more than I trust Huddle in terms of what they put down on their website. The reason why 247, they actually put those things down from like the opening or the combine style camps where all these things are measured, where 40s are laser timed. Huddle, I think the players and have their own type of input type of thing, and I don't think it's verified to the type of level that 247 is. Okay. So we'll give you both. We'll give you what Huddle says, and we'll give you what 247 says. But 247, for them to put the numbers down on their website, it's because it was observed and it was at one of these combine style camps.
Right. So 247 had his 40 at 4.8. Huddle had his 40 at 4.6. 247 had his vert at 33.4 inches, and Huddle had it at 36. So there's a gap there. Shuttle 4.41, and supposedly he could squat 425 pounds. So
yeah, I mean, listen, that's a perfect example. Compare those numbers. Why we were saying that Elijah Roberts is going to move inside. Even 247 has his 40 at 4.8, 4.80.
Right.
Okay, which is basically almost a full tenth of a second faster than Justin Hodges. Okay, and so even taking that into account, his vert 33.4. That's tremendous athleticism for a kid that's 6'3", 234.
Yeah, but can we get the guy that huddle saw?
No, but hey, listen, 4.8 for a strong side defensive end.
No, I know, but I mean, if Huddle says it's 4'6", and they also added almost 3 inches to his vertical. I mean,
well,
crazy.
Yeah, but look at Joe Jackson tested at 4.77 in the 40 in the combine at the NFL combine.
Right.
So this young man is that's why I say as a standalone, even without Trent Simpson, Quentin Williams a baller.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
You know, you just want to go ahead and let's take a look at his film.
Let's take a look at his film.
There you see at the left side. You can see some of that speed that he does have tremendous athleticism.
Yeah.
Yep. You just got swallowed there. The QB goes down. Look at him staying with the play. Forces the fumble with a beautiful strip.
Yeah, that was nice.
That's called being a playmaker.
Yes, it is.
He's number 8, in case you hadn't noticed that before. There you see him again. Chasing down, forces another fumble. Look at that. One hand brings him down.
Yeah, that was nice. So
I mean,
yeah.
But go ahead, buddy. What were you saying?
No, I'm just saying, like, I think that's more of an example on why we said what we said when it comes to defensive ends versus defensive tackles, and what we think could be a defensive end at the U versus what we think could be a defensive tackle at the U. I mean, even if the huddle numbers obviously are not accurate, the 247 numbers are pretty freaking good, and that shows you that he can have that ability to play, on the defensive end at the U. So
correct.
Yeah, for sure.
Correct. And that's usually the type of defensive end that you want. He'll end up, considering a redshirt year, you're probably looking at 6'3", 255, 260. And, exactly what you want in a strong side defensive end.
Yeah.
More of the Joe Jackson type than the all-out pass rushing demon of like Rousseau and Jalen Phillips. More of that type of glue type of defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I said I think he's a legitimate take on his own. But taking him, if it helps us with Trent Simpson,
hey,
that's a good thing. Can't hurt us, put it that way. If we take him, it damn sure can't hurt us.
Oh no, definitely not.
Getting Simpson.
It'll help us.
It will help us. Next up is another guy who's a strong side defensive end, but he's a defensive tackle for us.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Even though his ranking is a strong side defensive end, this guy is really fast rising. He's getting all these offers and attention now. And Miami's one of those giving him a lot of attention. Jerjan Newton. Thank God he goes by Johnny, so I could just call him Johnny Newton.
Yeah, right.
And I don't have to butcher that first name.
Yeah.
6'3", 250, out of Clearwater Central Catholic, which we know has a really good program. In Clearwater, Florida. Rating of 84.16, 55th best strong side defensive end in the country, 1,095th best overall player, and offered by Florida, FSU, Virginia Tech among 23 schools. The crystal ball doesn't have any picks, but he's talked very highly of Miami, and he's been getting a lot of attention recently. I do think this will end up being an in-state battle, but I think Miami has the in if they want him.
Right.
Even though he did play basketball for a short period of time, he's really more of the run stuffing, zero technique type of D tackle. More of like a Jalar Holly, Kendrick Norton type of guy.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't see him. I don't see him as a 3 technique, penetrating type of defensive tackle.
Yeah, I and you'll see him here, and he does, and he listen. He stays blocked, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only good thing is he seems to have a high motor, because when he stays blocked, he keeps battling on the play.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to go ahead and take a look at his film?
Let's take a look at his film. Mr. Johnny Newton. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name.
There you see, he splits it, makes a nice quarterback sack right there.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Listen, there you see him. He got blocked. Stay with the play.
He got off of it though,
and he did get off of it.
He got double teamed here in the beginning. And then you
chases
see him
down the play. But look, I mean, listen, when you see him chasing down these plays, we don't have testing numbers for him, because, like I said, he's a fast riser. He's one of these guys that
probably in that 5 range, that low 5. Mm-hmm. You would think.
There you see, that's a nice hit and a nice move. He's, he seems to me, and I don't know this. Look at that. That's a heck of a play there, and forces the fumble.
Yeah.
He seems to me to be the how can I put this?
I just what I like the most.
Some violence.
Yeah, what I like the most about his film is you're not going to see the get off and necessarily that strength that's going to wow you, but what you do see is a football player, man.
Yeah. And you know what? And I think, obviously, I don't know the young man, and I haven't read that much.
That was so generic. What you see is a football player. I hope you guys understand what I mean.
I know. Yeah.
When I say that, that he's a guy that he might not have physical attributes that are going to wow you or pop out at the screen, but he has a knack for getting to the football, and he has a high motor, like you mentioned previously. Exactly. If he gets blocked,
and he makes plays,
he makes plays. That's Absolutely. What I mean when I say this guy's a football player. That although he might not be as athletically talented as some of the other guys that we've covered, he's a guy that makes plays nonetheless, and I think he surpasses his skill set, and I think he plays better than what his physical and his athletic attributes are, and that's what I mean when I say this guy's a football player.
There you go. I mean, that's the thing. And is he a sure take if we get some of the guys above him? Probably not. Probably not. When I watched a lot of his film, and I saw some really big positive, but the only reason I saw a really big positive is because there was a negative going along with that, which is I saw him having a high motor, which usually a high motor is a high character guy. Mm-hmm. But I saw that because he got blocked a lot, but I also saw him not quit and stay with plays downfield, stay with plays all the way to the sideline.
Yeah. So
I think us taking him is only going to be if we don't get Elijah Roberts, let's say. Mm-hmm. If not, if we do get Elijah Roberts, I'm not sure if we take the commitment from Newton.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, would you agree with that?
I'm there with you, man. I'm there with you because those other guys are they're more gifted, frankly.
Yeah, you see a much better get off. You see a much better first step. You see more refined moves.
Yeah.
You see ability to beat blocks more often. You see things that you can say, okay, that's going to be something that makes me plays.
Exactly.
It makes big plays on defense.
Yeah.
With Newton, you don't see that as much.
Yeah. Before we move on to the outside linebackers, you want to go over some of the defensive linemen names to know?
Yeah, names to know that we didn't break down because we don't think that there's a realistic shot of getting them. Defensive tackle Jacqueline Roy from Baton Rouge. And I know we've made some headway with him. Highly, highly ranked guy and a baller. I've seen his film, and he's talented. Mm-hmm. But all the picks have him going to LSU, and being he's from Baton Rouge,
I mean, come on.
at the end of the day, I think
He might stay
a
home.
guy. Yeah, I think he's going to stay home. A guy that we were making headway at one point, defensive tackle Kedrick Bingley Jones. He's said some great things about Miami, and he's from North Carolina. But I think if he leaves North Carolina, he's probably leaving for the Gators.
Not if we whoop them boys August 24th.
That's the. And by the way, if we do get Kedrick Bingley Jones, if we do get him at D tackle,
then you know who else we might get?
Who's that?
Oh, I thought I was about to finish the next person you're going to say. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, that if we get Kedrick Bingley Jones, he's higher on our board than Elijah Roberts is. So, because you're looking at Bingley Jones is a solid 4-star. So, if we do, if we were able to beat Florida by a substantial amount, maybe we're back in play with him. And that's a guy who's definitely a take, and who's be very high on our board among D tackles. And you're right. I do think we have a more realistic chance of getting him, but I didn't cover him because I think the crystal ball all says that if he leaves North Carolina, because I think they have one vote for North Carolina, one for NC State, and one for Florida.
Yeah, no, I said what I said we might get because we got into the conversation about Chance Williams saying that, about Florida and stuff like that. If we will Florida, we might get Chance Williams. So, hey, if we Florida, we might get Bingley and we might get Chance Williams as well.
There you go. The only other couple of guys I want to mention is Timothy Brown, defensive tackle from Palm Beach. There's some interest, and he is a fast-rising player, but he is an 81 rating, and you sort of see why that rating is where it is. But I think if we do want Brown, because he does have some upside, we could outduel Auburn and Penn State. But I think he's a last case scenario. That's one of those that if we strike out on anybody else, then we take a look at Timothy Brown. And the last one is a weak side defensive end, Kaya Wright, another type of last case scenario player that he's an unranked late bloomer. I believe he's from Miami Beach. I didn't put it here, but I think it's I guess have they split Miami Beach High School and now it's South Miami Beach, and so that's where he goes to school. He's a late bloomer, but those are the only other names to know. Now the next little group is we have three defensive ends that are outside linebackers at the college level. Two of them, Miami has already said that they're recruiting him as outside linebackers. The third one, I've said that I think he would make a good outside linebacker. Miami has not. So I do want to say that. But these are weak side defensive ends that are going to be outside linebackers at the college level. And there's three players that we're going to go over. All right. So let's get it started. The first one is Latari Kinsler Jr., 6'2.5", 204 pounds, from Pahokee High School in Pahokee, Florida.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is something that was going to bother me when it came to Kaya Wright. He goes to South Miami Senior High.
Oh, South Miami. Thank you. So I don't know why
that was going to bother me. I had to look that up.
Yeah, I think I saw him. What must have been a typo that's somewhere was typed at South Miami Beach. I'm like, I've never heard of South Miami Beach.
Yeah, South Miami.
But South Miami, obviously, I've heard.
Yeah.
So, right. So he is from South Miami. Thank you. Latari Kinsler, he's a very high 3-star. He's almost a 4-star, 88.83, 15th best weak side defensive end in the country, 382nd best overall player, offered by LSU, Oregon, Texas A&M, and Syracuse. And the crystal ball has only one vote. It's undecided, but I do believe that vote used to say Miami. So the heat with Kinsler has gone dim a little bit,
right?
But so it has cooled
because of the visit to Syracuse on the 21st of June.
Correct.
I think, yeah.
He's visiting, and Syracuse actually with Dino Babers, they've done a pretty good job recruiting South Florida. Usually they get the players though that we're not really interested in.
Right.
are usually the type of players that Syracuse settles for.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that Kinsler would be ours if we want him, but he is only ours as an outside linebacker, not as a defensive end.
Right,
I mean,
right.
6'2.5", 204 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
247, by the way, they show, besides the commitments or the crystal ball picks, they also show interest level as warm, warmer, or cold, or cool. There is 3 other teams besides Syracuse. It says warmer. LSU, Oregon, and Texas A&M. It says warm. For us, it used to say warm, and now it says cool.
Cool.
So apparently, the interest level has died down with him.
Yeah.
But I do think he could be ours. The one thing that has me a little concerned is he is athletic, but he's listed at 204 pounds. But when he went to the opening, he weighed in at 191.
That's concerning.
Yeah, and his vertical leap was only 30 inches, 30.6 inches.
That's another thing that's pretty concerning.
And he didn't test anything else at the opening.
It's another thing that's a little concerning.
Correct. And I think he apparently was injured. So it is what it is.
Maybe he was. Who knows, man?
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, the fact that he didn't test, he probably was injured. How can I put this? We're going to get to Johnny Walker next, who's the guy who Miami hasn't talked about changing him to an outside linebacker, but who I think will make a better outside linebacker than Kinsler.
Yeah, but I would agree. Let's go ahead and get into Kinsler's clips.
All right, here you go. He is number 30, I believe. And you're going to see him there, spot shadowed. Nice hit. And good closing speed getting to that quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But there, when you look at him, he looks like he weighs 191.
Yes, he sure does.
And there you see another sack, forces a fumble. Listen, he's definitely athletic. He's a big
hitter for 191.
He is a big hitter, and he's definitely plenty athletic. There you see on that play, though, he actually stayed pretty much blocked. Same thing here.
Yeah,
there you see him. Nice play on the running back. Listen, he's aggressive, and he can make plays. Look at this play. Boom. Comes back and nails that inside screen. Look at this. Strings that play out beautifully. That's exactly how you want to play that.
He looks good, but you do see the fact that he's only weighing 191 according to the opening. I mean, he looks like he's 191 there. He does not look like he's 204 pounds.
Correct. So obviously you're going to want him at 6'2.5". You're going to want him at 225 or so, 220.
Yeah.
Listen, he's a definite take, 100% a take, and you see it in the film. Plenty of athleticism to play outside linebacker. And you see him. That one play was beautifully the way he strung it out. He was the outside contain man on that play outside. He strung that out textbook.
Yeah, he did
exactly the way you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, he did.
So listen, he is a definitive take. I wonder why the interest has died down. Miami was talking about him a lot.
Maybe it could be that weight they're concerned about.
Well, I mean, even at 191 though, for a high school linebacker, hey, listen, that's fine.
You could probably get it up to 205. Yeah, I get.
Yeah, you can get it up to 220 pretty quick. With good weight. I'm talking about. I'm talking about
that frame.
The red shirt.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No. I'm sorry. No. It was my fault. I should have said that. I'm talking about a red shirt year.
Yes.
A red shirt year, and get him up.
You're talking about that size,
Right. No. Not in the beginning.
Yeah.
But he's a definitive take, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If we get him. This is a guy. The next one that I'm the one that's really excited about him.
Yeah.
We're recruiting him. We have been recruiting him as a weak side defensive end. I think he loves Miami. and I think he's ours if we want him. My problem is they've been looking at him as a weak side defensive end, and I think this guy could be a monster outside linebacker. That is, and I'll throw you in there because I think you agree with me. Mm-hmm. But that is our opinion, not that we've heard any inside information from Miami. The public information that's been given out is that he's being recruited as a weak side defensive end, but he's not necessarily a take as of yet. I think he has a lot of interest in Miami, and if Miami wants him, I think he's ours.
My only problem with, and this is the reason why I think we both agree with him being more of an outside linebacker. If we do get him, it's not very often that you see a defensive end prospect weighing 200 pounds.
Right.
At 6'3". So if you really do want to bring this guy in as a defensive end, he has to gain what? 50 pounds?
Yeah, at least 40. Let's say 40, 45 pounds for sure.
Let's say 40, 45 pounds. I mean, yeah. I just think, the size, and we're going to go over his numbers in terms of the 40 and everything else. Guy's strong. He's strong.
Tremendous athleticism.
That's what I'm saying.
Tremendous athleticism.
And the fact that we need, because this is one of those things that we need, especially after this year, where Pickney, McLeod, and Shaq are going to be gone. We need linebackers. And Canes fans, I know you guys agree with me. We need to bring in linebackers. So I think Walker could be your prototypical outside linebacker if that's where we indeed put him.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I don't quite understand at times. And I think the people watching need to know this. A lot of times, man, luck is a factor. Because like with Kinsler, everybody looked at him and he's 6'2.5", right? And it was like, oh, he's a good outside linebacker prospect. That's why he's a high-rated 3-star. Because nobody has him as a high-rated 3-star as an outside linebacker.
Correct.
Okay. Now you look at Johnny Walker, who's more athletic than Kinsler. And he's bigger than Kinsler, but he's 6'3", 204. He's only half an inch bigger, taller.
Right.
Okay. But you look at this kid's measurables. Okay, first let me give you the background. Johnny Walker, as I said, 6'3", 204 from Tampa Chamberlain High School. His rating is actually, this is the only rating that's not a 2.4 composite. This is a 247 rating because 247 does not have a composite ranking for him. Okay. So this is 247's rating is an 87, which is a fairly high 3-star. They have him as the 27th best weak side defensive end, 654th best overall player, offered by Nebraska, Georgia Tech, and Missouri among 16 schools.
Yeah.
No crystal ball picks, but I believe he's 100% ours if we want him. And of course, a lot of it depends on the total numbers and what we get at different places and who signs. Here's the thing. Even though no one has talked about him as an outside linebacker, his 40-yard dash 247 has it at 4.77. Huddle has him at 4.68. Vertical leap, 34.9 inches. 4.37 shuttle.
That's crazy right there.
Okay, that's
the number that popped out of me probably the most.
Yep, and then they have him also. He benches 300, deadlifts 485, and squats 435.
Yeah, he's strong.
Now here's the thing that's why I say that you can't, why I don't pay attention to the star ratings. Okay, you're going to look at him at film. Look at those measurables. Look at his film. Compare him to Latari Kinsler, and you tell me who's the better outside linebacker prospect.
Yeah, let's get to it so we could go. Let's get to it right now so we could go ahead and try to make that comparison.
There you go. Boom. Lays him out. Look at him. All he does is make plays, and he's being a stand-up linebacker.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Look at that. You saw the way he dipped inside and got that running back? Bye. You're not getting away. I'm sorry. I see this kid as a stud of it. Now, maybe he's still growing, because he doesn't look like he's really finished growing. You sort of can tell when a guy has filled, his body has filled in.
Exactly.
And Walker looks like he might actually grow another inch or two. And that's the case. Maybe that's why they would leave him at defensive end. But look
That's
at that.
fine, but you gotta put on more weight. Though, like I don't
No,
understand.
absolutely. But look at that.
Yeah,
Listen, he makes play after play after
he
play.
does. No, he does. He does. You can't argue with that. You can't argue with that.
And I'm sorry if you look at his film and you look at where he's at. I see him. I'd have him higher ranked than Kinsler for sure as an outside linebacker.
Yeah, I do not disagree with you there.
So as I'm a big fan of his. I think if he was an outside linebacker, he'd be a 4-star. And I think that's where his talent level is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's ours if we want him. And you know what? We should want him. And I do think Blake Baker is going to double back and say, hey, this is depending on how many outside linebackers we sign or how many linebackers total we sign.
Mm-hmm.
So because if we get Justin Flo and Trenton Simpson, and we're still in play for Saval Smalls, although we'll talk about him here in a minute. So if we get some of those high-ranked guys, then obviously then Walker might not be a take.
Right.
But I see a lot of talent there, and I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah. So, but let's go ahead and go to another outside linebacker, Jamari Stewart. He's 6'4", 215 from St. Lucie West Centennial High School in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He has a rating of 85.66, which is a solid 3-star. He's the 31st best weak side defensive end in the country. But, I mean, we're going to go ahead and talk about why we think he should be an outside linebacker. 795th best overall player. He's been offered by Auburn, Michigan, Pittsburgh, and Virginia Tech, among 21 other schools. There's only one crystal ball pick, and it is for Miami. Although he is visiting Pitt on June 14th, but has also visited us multiple times. So what do you think?
This is a guy who's the whole time Miami's talked about him, has talked about converting him to an outside linebacker. I don't have any testing numbers or statistics. By the way, on the that we mentioned Johnny Walker, I forgot to mention his stats. His junior season, he had 13 sacks.
Yeah.
So and he's had 20 sacks total as a as a varsity player and 21 tackles for loss total. So that's the thing about Walker.
And
but let's talk about
year. He had 20 tackles for loss as well.
Yeah. So
let's go ahead and talk about Stewart.
About Jamari Stewart. So ever since we've been recruiting him, we've talked about that we're seeing him as a outside linebacker, and not as a defensive end.
Right.
So he is 6'4", though. So, but we'll see. I think he does show linebacker potential, good closing speed, and shows some reading ability. And he's another one that I like better than Kinsler, frankly. And I'm not knocking Latari Kinsler, but he is a much better known prospect. But I think Stewart and Walker should be ranked higher. You want to go ahead and take a look at his film?
Go ahead and take a look at his film.
All right. And here we go. He is number 8.
Number 8, yeah. You'll see him make a nice play there.
And here we go. Beautiful play, a spin move, and nails the running back in the backfield for a big loss. Here again, look at that. The way he stays with the play. Boom. Listen, when he hits you, you go down.
Yes, sir.
Here he's lined up on there. You see him as a defensive end, makes another sack. We don't have any testing numbers for him, but when you look at a nice strip there. And there you see this weird 2-point conversion play.
That did not.
Boom. Did not work. Look at this. This is the play that I love. Jumps over a guy. And then look at that. Chases the play from behind.
Finishes the play, yeah.
he read that play beautifully.
He did. He really did.
You know, listen, I like him quite a bit. And again, I think that's why we're going to do our defensive breakdown has to be in 2 shows with the conversion of weak side defensive ends to outside linebackers, with this mishmash of us swinging for the fences as we should, with Justin Flo, with Saval Smalls, with Trenton Simpson. You know, if we get those highly rated guys, some of these clips we're seeing are not needed, because, you know, we are gonna take, you know, we have AJ Mathis at linebacker already. We're gonna take 3 more linebackers.
Yeah.
So where all these guys shake out, you know, if we sign some of these outside linebackers that are converted, if we get all the other linebackers, do we do what we did with Patrick Joyner and move them to defensive end?
Right.
You know, that type of thing. And with Jamari Stewart, he's 6'4". That's plenty tall for a defensive end. You know, so that's why it's a little over the board and why we had to cover so many guys. But again, I would have Johnny Walker and Jamari Stewart above Latari Kinsler. And that might be very well where Blake Baker and Manny Diaz have them, because that's one of the reasons why maybe the contact with Kinsler has died down a little bit.
Yeah. But let's go ahead. Yeah, I would agree. But let's go ahead and talk about, you know, one of those big swings for the fences, like you mentioned, with the number one outside linebacker in the country, Saval Smalls.
Yeah. Saval Smalls. You know what? I know people think that we have no shot at him, and yeah, my feeling on getting him is probably 10%. So, but again, if we're 12-0 come the ACC championship game, are we in play for Saval Smalls? Absolutely. Absolutely, we are. Even 11-1.
Can you imagine if we get Saval Smalls and the guy we're going to talk about in part 2, Justin Flo?
Yeah. I mean, so if we get Smalls, you know, if we're at, like I said, if we're at 12-0, 11-1 going into the ACC championship game, okay, and I mean, if we win the SEC championship game, we're probably in the national championship playoffs, and then every player on the board is in play. So, 100%. But even if we don't, and we're respectable, and then we play the New Year's Six Bowl, that might be enough to get Smalls. Listen, Smalls at one point, they had him. Let's talk about it. It's 6'3", 230, from Kennedy Catholic High School in Burien, Washington. His rating is a 99.78. Obviously a high 5-star, the number 1 outside linebacker in the country, and the 4th best overall player. Offered by 32 schools, including the usual suspects of Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Florida, FSU, etc. The crystal ball shows 7 picks, people. This is why I think we have a much better chance than people say.
Because it's a little all over the place.
And 3 of the picks are from FSU.
Right.
Or from the Seminoles.
Yeah.
Okay? So that means that
Seminoles are, frankly, not, at least from what I believe, I could say it for a certainty, actually, FSU is not going to have the season that Miami's going to have. I'm sorry.
That's right. And then if we go into Tallahassee and we beat them, especially when we beat them handedly, which I think we can, and I think we will.
Whoop the Seminoles.
The thing is, the Seminoles, people talk about seasons, and Seminoles are coming off a 5-7 season, coming off a season that they had to make up a game just to be bowl eligible the previous season.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they weren't bowl eligible, and they went 5-7 last year.
The dumpster fire is in full effect over there in Taddy.
Okay, not only do you have a dumpster fire, Taggart's on the hot seat. You have financial problems, because that was much publicized, that financially the school is in trouble a little bit, and they had to restructure some things. Add to that, oh, by the way, this ranking came out a few weeks ago. Among FBS schools, the academic progress rate, the APR that's measured by the NCAA measures it, and it's what type of progress the school is making, your athletes are making academically. Florida State is ranked dead last in the FBS.
Yeah.
Okay, their rating is I think it was 936. If you get below 930, they start imposing bans and scholarship losses. In fact, that's what happened to UConn in basketball. UConn in basketball had that happen because of the APR rating.
Right.
So you're talking about a school that is getting bad publicity academically. They're a school that's actually talked about some financial issues that they're having.
Right.
You have a coach who's on the hot seat and 2 successive really bad seasons by most standards, not just FSU standards. So the fact that Smalls, they have 7 picks on the crystal ball, 3 for FSU, 2 for Bama, and 2 undecided. I think that if we have a very good season and we take care of FSU in Tallahassee, I think we might get him.
But he needs to visit.
He needs to visit.
Yeah.
But I think it would, at that point, I think it could come down between us and Bama for him. And so if we get that type of season, listen, this kid's special. We don't have testing data, but we do have the stats from 247. He's a tremendous athlete, great first step, tremendous closing speed. I think he's very, very special, great instincts. But I like Trenton Simpson even better as an outside linebacker.
Ooh, is that your bold statement of this video?
That's my bold statement. That's my bold statement. I know that Smalls is much higher rated.
I can already see the comment sections. What?
What are you talking about? Yeah, I think Simpson's a better athlete. I do. By the way, Smalls had 21 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. This is just 2018, his junior season. 7 sacks. And by the way, he also caught 33 passes for 673 yards and 7 touchdowns. So don't get me wrong. Just because I like Simpson even better, it's because I think Simpson is a legit 5-star candidate too in terms of talent. Okay, so I'm not saying Smalls isn't. No. So don't get it twisted.
All right, so before we get to Simpson, let's get into Smalls. You want to look at some of his clips?
Let's look at his clips, and if we get Smalls, I'll be popping some champagne corks. Oh, so don't get it twisted. He's a baller.
Yeah.
Okay, there you see him. He's shadowed, actually down as a defensive tackle. Look at his closing speed. Look at him. He looks like a D tackle almost in build. He's so thick.
Yeah, he does.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oof.
Tremendous speed. It's almost unfair to even have him on the field. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look how active he is.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
He tackled. He actually hit the running back and the quarterback with one hit.
Yep. Yeah, there he shows his patience.
Look at him chasing the play all the way from the backside like that.
Yeah.
Look at the way he reads. Oh, poor running back. This kid, there's absolutely zero doubt of why he's a 5-star.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, every time you see him, he's making a play. I mean, and to be 6'3", 230 and actually catch 33 balls on top of playing linebacker, and 21 tackles for loss. Listen, there's no doubt why he's the 4th best player in the country.
Yeah, but now you've officially have Canes fans and anybody watching on their seats like, all right, now let's talk about Trent Simpson, Mr. Big Dog, and why do you think he might be just as good as Smalls?
There you go. That would be a more accurate statement. I would say just as good.
Yeah, because I think if you say better,
if not a little bit better. How's that? I'm still sticking to my bold statement. Okay. You ready? Trenton Simpson, 6'2.5", 220 pounds. Mallard Creek High School. Of course, we talked about Charlotte, North Carolina. He's a high 4-star with a rating of 96.15. The 4th best outside linebacker in the country, 67th best overall player. So his rating is really high too. Let's not get it twisted. Offered by Georgia, Auburn, Tennessee, North Carolina, among 24 schools. The Crystal Ball has 7 votes, 6 of them from North Carolina, 1 undecided. He has visits lined up to Georgia, Auburn, and Tennessee. I would not usually include him because he is listed cold with Miami. Like, it's cool, the interest.
Mm-hmm.
But being that he's a teammate of Quentin Williams, I think if we do sign Quentin Williams, I think our chances go up for Trenton Simpson.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't think Mac Brown is going to get North Carolina turned around all that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to take him a little while to get it turned around.
Mm-hmm.
If North Carolina, remember, they're coming off, if I'm not mistaken, they've had back-to-back 2-win seasons.
Right.
Okay, so even though I do think under Mac Brown they'll be improved, if they go 4-8, if they get to 4 wins, and if you look at their schedule, frankly, I don't see more than 4 or 5 wins for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you think Simpson still goes to North Carolina?
I don't know, man, because
if Miami's recruiting him hard, and Miami has a really good season.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina has the type of season that they're expected to have, because 4 wins would be a big improvement. They had 2 wins for the last 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
my only question is, are you as confident that we land up even if we don't land Quentin Williams, being that they're teammates?
I think it helps. I think if we land Quentin Williams, okay, I'll put it this way. Whatever percentage we have to getting him, if we land Quentin Williams, I double it.
Okay, yeah. I would agree with that.
You know?
Yeah.
So now here, you ready? Here is why I like him even more than Savell Smalls.
Yeah.
40-yard dash, 4.69. Vert, 6'2.5", 220 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
37.8 inches in the vert.
Yeah.
Shuttle, 4.37.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And when you look at, when we're going to put the clip, you're going to see a picture of him in the clip. He looks like a grown-ass, ripped man.
Yeah.
Okay? He looks like a primetime, senior in college or an NFL linebacker.
Yeah.
The way he's ripped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And you saw those athletic numbers, those testing numbers.
North Carolina isn't that good to keep studs like that home, man. I'm sorry.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Now, if you tell me this is 2 years down the line and Mac Brown has North Carolina playing in bowls at least.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe he stays home and goes to North Carolina. I think even though they have 6 crystal ball picks for him, if North Carolina has a 3-8 season or 3, whatever. I don't know if they play 12 games on their schedule if they have 11. But let's say if they go 3-8 or 4-7 or 4-8, whatever it is, and we have a 10+ win season and we're playing the ACC championship game, and we put and he knows that Mike Pinckney, Shaquille Quarterman, and Zach McLeod are all gone.
He's gonna come.
He to the NFL.
If he comes in, yeah. But the same thing could be said about North Carolina. But you're playing, as a freshman with Miami, or you want to play a freshman in North Carolina? You want to stay home and go ahead.
And by the way, people talk about the success that Mac Brown had previously at North Carolina. Mac Brown is way up there in age.
Yeah, he is.
So there's no guarantee, number one, that he's going to have the same success that he had previously. And number two, how long is he going to be around? And I'm not, I like Mac Brown, and I hope God grants him another 50 years of healthy life.
Yeah.
But facts are facts. Manny Diaz is 44.
Mm-hmm.
Or 45.
And we're building something special, and a lot of these kids, want to be part of what we're going to build. But like I said, it all comes down on our success this coming season.
Now, when I showed you the testing, when we talked about the testing numbers of Trenton Simpson, and I'm going to ask you a legitimate question. You saw the offer schools. I had an Alabama and Clemson offer. You think he's 96.15, a high 4-star? Or is he in Savell Smalls territory? You want to look? Let's look at the film first.
Let's look at the film. Let's look at the film.
Oh, give me 1 second because I gotta. Here we go. All right, there's. Look at that. Look at how ripped that dude is. Now watch him. Oh, by the way, he's also a running back. He plays both ways. Yeah, you think you're gonna catch him? No, he's gone. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, Smalls also plays receiver and caught 33 passes. Now watch him as an outside linebacker. Okay, watch him again as a running back. Look at the acceleration. Splits the two guys, almost breaks it all the way. Look at him again as a linebacker. How quickly did he get to that quarterback?
Wow.
Another play as a running back. Look at that move. Touchdown. Other play as a linebacker. Did you see how quickly he made up that gap?
Yeah.
And look at that body again.
Now, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but I think he's ranked at a good. No, I wouldn't doubt if he
he's just the 67th best player in the country. That's nothing to be, and the fourth best outside linebacker. That's nothing to be ashamed of in terms of ranking.
And I mean, he is still offered by schools like Georgia and stuff like that. So
yeah. But who do you think is a better athlete, Smalls or Simpson? I'll give you this much. I'll say right now, Smalls is the better player. Simpson's a better athlete. I guarantee you, Savall Smalls does not have a 38-inch vertical leap.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough because we couldn't find it. We couldn't find exactly what what his 40 or his vertical or his shuttle was.
And usually when you can't find it, it's because it hasn't been highly publicized, because either camps, he hasn't gone to these openings or combine style camps.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched, looking at the film, and I watched a lot of film on both.
Mm-hmm.
Simpson's a better athlete. No doubt. No doubt. I have no doubt Simpson runs faster, can jump higher, more explosive athlete. Now, Smalls has elite instincts.
Yes.
To another level than Simpson. I'll give you that much. I will give you that much. I do think Smalls is his instincts are as elite as you can be. And the way he reads plays is tremendous. I mean, he really reads plays like a middle linebacker, like an inside linebacker.
Right.
So I'll give him that advantage. I even, if you want to tell me that Smalls is the better football player right now, okay, I won't argue that. I'm not going to argue that. Okay. But in terms of the higher ceiling, I think Simpson's ceiling is every bit as high as Smalls, if not higher.
Well, Savall Smalls is showing up as Warren from Miami.
No, it is. It is. And again, we go back to the same thing. If Savall Smalls' preference was FSU, and FSU has another train wreck season, or even if they don't have a train wreck season, they're not going to have the season Miami is.
Mm-hmm.
And we beat FSU in Tallahassee. And Smalls might pick that game to visit, to do his official.
Yeah, true.
And we beat him in Tallahassee, I think we pull him. Same thing with North Carolina. Listen, if people say, oh, it's a pipe dream to think about Smalls and Simpson. Really? It's a pipe dream.
Mm-hmm.
When Smalls were competing against FSU and Simpson were competing against North Carolina?
Yeah, I don't.
Why is that a pipe dream?
Yeah, I don't buy into that either.
Okay, now you can say that Smalls, if he decides against FSU, might pick Bama.
Right.
Okay, I buy that. But again, the difference that we have is immediate playing time.
Yeah.
He knows we lose all those linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So and he also knows the defense that we play, that we play a defense that can spotlight kids like that, like Smalls and Simpson.
Right.
So I think we're really in play for both those guys. I do.
Yeah. We'll see.
So let me want to go over just the other linebackers to know. I didn't cover this guy, but we've been recruiting him hard the whole time. Derek Wingo, outside linebacker from St. Thomas Aquinas. He's been committed to Penn State for quite a while now. And I think if anybody flips him from Penn State, it'll probably be Ohio State. We don't have.
We're still chasing him though,
hard.
hard.
We are. Yeah, we're still recruiting him hard, but I think that he's been telling the coaching staff a lot of positive things behind the scenes because obviously they don't believe it's over. So he's been saying that he likes Miami and that, the new Miami and all these things. And we've had some good fortune with St. Thomas Aquinas at times, and at times yes, and at times no.
Right.
But that's to be expected.
Yeah.
But obviously Avery Huff. We got Avery Huff. And so listen, I think having Huff definitely puts us in the game. But I didn't show him the videos. We didn't get the videos. I just don't think. I think if anybody flips him from Penn State, it'll be Ohio State. I don't think he's going to come to Miami.
Right.
Brandon Williams is another well-known linebacker from Louisiana. He is from Isidore Newman High School, really well-known high school in New Orleans. And Blake Baker has great contacts in Louisiana, and he's the point man for the 4-star recruit, Brandon Williams. But I think that's going to be an LSU, Florida, and Tennessee battle, even though there's no crystal ball picks in for him yet.
Right.
And then the last one is William Mohan. He's out of the famous Erasmus Hall High School in Brooklyn, New York. All 5 crystal ball picks are showing Michigan, but Miami is staying consistent contact. And we are showing us Warm. And he is a very intriguing athlete. He's really an athlete that projects to an outside linebacker. Penn State is the other Warm team. We've actually had good fortune in New York. But those are the other names to know.
Yeah.
And then we'll obviously go over inside linebackers and secondary in our next video.
Definitely. So, yeah, that basically wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Part 2 will be coming soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. 66% of you guys are not subscribed. So
please subscribe.
Help us out, baby. Help us out. I mean, you guys have helped us out a ton already, and we can't be any more grateful. And keep on commenting, keep on having discussions with us, and yeah. I mean,
I do want to say something. I'm not going to get like overly emotional about it or anything like that, but doing this with my son is tremendously special. I know I've said this before, but I want to reiterate it. Doing this with you is a blessing to me and something that I so much enjoy, because we would have these conversations before anyways, but now being able to do them all the time is a blessing that I don't take for granted. To get the type of support from you guys that we've gotten makes it all the more special, because it's sort of having you guys support something that we do together.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. For sure.
And that's just, it's a blessing. And I am so grateful to all of you and to all your comments, all your feedback, but please subscribe, like, and share, and hit the notifications bell.
Absolutely. So we'll see you guys on the next one, part 2, inside linebackers and secondary coming next. It's all about the U.
It's all about the U.
Thank you guys. See you on the next one.
Ryan Little. Yoga.